Buenos dias, senor. Welcome back to Sabado Gigante. Or Ethelred, the worst Civ player on YouTube. Let's play some Civ. Tonight's episode brought to you by lots and lots of wine. I like to drink while I bake. I was baking a lot recently. Voila. And we have tonight's episode. So we're going to do Peter the Great tonight. We're going to go over a couple of the rulers in between Peter the Great and who comes after him. And we're going to leave off at the ascension to power of Catherine the Great. So, Peter the Great is a really cool dude. I find him fascinating. Now, disclaimer, he did like to torture people. But that's pretty much, you're not Russian if you don't. Son of a gun, you killed my silk. Alright, so luckily we apparently had a spare silk, and now we need to go fix that silk. Let's do that. And wow, that is much unfortunate that we have another barb camp with muskets. Well, we'll send a lancer. And we need to go through our cities to figure out all of our cities. We're going to do that. Tonight's going to be, as far as Civ is concerned, a really boring episode. But as far as the history is concerned, it's going to be really cool. So, Peter the Great. Okay, so let's start with, I'm just going to biography this guy for a little bit. Then we'll talk about what he did in history. And we'll go through the city starting at Moscow. So first thing about Peter the Great, he was huge. He was 6'7". He had small feet and tiny hands. He tended to stumble and lurch around. Sometimes he was lurching because he was massively drunk. Because he drank a lot. He was kind of the eternal frat boy. He, in his entire life, was a frat boy. He had an extreme facial tic. And that was probably caused by a form of epilepsy called petite mal. I don't think I need to put any civilians onto any of these specialty buildings, and we'll continue building the porcelain towers, so Moscow's done. I have to talk really loud when I'm in the city view because the city view is so loud. Okay. Poltavka is almost done with its Circus Maximus. We got, I don't feel like we need another Cossack after that. We'll do the Brandenburg Gate. And are we on food? Yeah, we're on food. Okay, I think that city's good. Alright, so Peter the Great, I did mention he liked to torture people, but only if you did one particular thing wrong. He was a totally cool frat boy kind of dude. He was a bro. Unless you weren't loyal to him. If you did some kind of treason or rebellion or something like that, he usually usually got pretty harsh on you. How do I have an academy here? Was I indisposed one night, a little bit too much into the bottle, and I made an academy in the wrong city? Should not have made an academy here. Anyway, so he about killing people. He did kill people. In fact, he would do it himself. It was not enough to him to order somebody's execution. He would go actually take the axe from the executioner and do it himself. We'll do a market and a windmill and a workshop in some kind of order like that at Srubna. Srubna should not... I wonder if I can just move this academy. Okay, just kidding. I know we can't move it. Alright, and that brings us to Samaria. So, something else about Peter the Great is he didn't give a damn about the trappings of power. He didn't care if he looked like a czar. He didn't care if he acted like a czar. He was a czar, and everybody else just better get with it. Let's see. What are we going to do here? A national epic? No. A temple opera house? Maybe an opera house? Let's do an opera house. There's, like, no reason at all for me to build an opera house here. And it's on food focus. So, that's really just because I have nothing better to do at Samaria. Yeah, he didn't care. He was totally confident in his being a czar. He didn't need to look the part. He didn't need to feel the part. He didn't dress the part. He sure didn't dress like a czar. And most of the time, he didn't act like it. I'll give you some examples here. Here's a good one. He found some Latvian peasant girl and was in love with her, and he married her. And it drove everybody crazy. It drove the boyars crazy. It drove the church crazy. It drove everybody nuts. You're not supposed to find some peasant girl scrubbing floors and marry her. That's what he did. All right, what else did he do? He really enjoyed hanging out with peasants. He dressed like a peasant. He would go sleep in peasant houses. He said he got the best night's sleep in a peasant house. He would go by pseudonyms. He wouldn't even, show up with his entourage and a bunch of Secret Service agents and a wing of cavalry at some peasant's house to sleep there. No, he'd show up. He'd be like, "Hey man, can I crash here, bro?" And he'd crash there. That was Peter the Great. This guy was crazy. And when he would have parties at his place, when he had big dinners, he didn't do the whole formal dining thing where everybody sits someplace. He couldn't stand that. He'd get up, he'd walk around, he'd eat while he was walking. He'd eat like a slob, and food would fall off of him and fall onto the nice outfits of other people. And the dainty aristocrats of the world couldn't stand it because he was such a slob. What else? Oh yeah, his advisors were his best friends. And his best friends were the people he got wasted with. So he was really, honestly, a frat boy his entire life. And those people who were his friends, they were basically always European. He didn't really select from the boyars or anything like that. His friends, he pretty much just did his friends from Europe. Because he was a Europhile. He loved Europe. He thought that Europe was where it was at. And we are going to build stuff and things with markets and aqueducts and windmills and opera houses and Tamatarcha working on a zoo. Great. And they've got lots of things that they're building right now, so I don't need to worry about them. I do need to worry about this Wallenstein, who's really expensive here. And I don't have any use for him, I don't think. Do I? Is there some super strategic place that I could make a... actually, you know what? Isn't there some coal someplace that's really convenient for me if I were to just have... Yeah, right there. Boom. We're gonna drop a... Oh, but... Great person improvements I don't think can be replaced. So I better not. Oh, but if I put it, say, like right here or here, yeah, right here, then I would get this wine and this coal. That'd be a nice place for great general. Let's do that. All right. Nobody to trade with here. We're going to send this guy to Moscow and have him do his trading from Moscow. Alright, Peter the Great. What else about him? So I mentioned he really liked Europe. He implemented a lot of social policies from Europe. One of the things he did was he told his boyars that they were going to dress and act like Europeans, and they were going to shave their beards and be like Europeans, or he was going to tax them. So they had to start dressing like Europeans and shave, and that things you can do in an autocracy. Just autocracy things. What else? Oh yeah, he also ended arranged marriages in Russia. We're gonna have this artillery unit just stand watch there forever, and we're gonna click next turn. He was a really smart guy. I know it seems like he was some kind of drunk frat boy his entire life, but he was a really smart dude. He was entirely self-taught. He, to the degree that, when I say he was self-taught, I mean like this guy taught himself everything. His spelling was horrible, but, you know, it's because he basically taught himself everything he knew. His handwriting was horrible, but again, he taught himself everything he knew. He built a private library. And what was in this library? Was it, you know, what would you expect to be in some king's private library? Especially in some place like Russia that was all Eastern Orthodox and everything. You would expect a bunch of religious texts. You would expect things translated from Latin. No, this guy had in his library books on engineering, fortifications, hydraulics, and engineering. This was like the Popular Science Mag guy. Alright? That's what he was doing. He did at one point a grand tour of Europe. And he did this in typical Peter the Great fashion. What the freak? These people are rebels. And we're going to go all Russian on them. Yep. This is we're going to be total Russian on these guys. We're going to put this uprising down with artillery units. And Cossacks and stuff. Probably not before they destroy a whole bunch of my tile improvements, though. So we're just going to have this guy wait right where he is. Because I have a feeling he's going to be going to Moscow in just a minute to help fix things. This does remind me that I need to take this game seriously. And I need to go get Borders and Renovo. Oh, great. Wheat right here. Real nice. We need to get happiness improving things. We got zoos almost. We've got, well, I don't think there's anything I can do for happiness really. Nobody has anything they can trade with me. Are there, well, this guy, I tell you what, next turn or 2 turns from now, I'll give him a gift. He's got the mercantile quest. Or the gold quest. He's mercantile. I'll get 45 influence. That'll be great. In the meantime, I'm just gonna actually up. Son of a gun! Now I can't be friends with that city-state in 2 turns. Oh, the stupidity of me. But I guess that needed to happen anyway. Okay, and we'll bring you back to Ambro Novo. So many things there that I probably didn't do that I should have done. But it is what it is. And yeah. Yep. Wow, look at Kiev and Riga. And they are really militant. Okay, so Peter the Great. I did say I kind of like this guy. Forget the whole torturing and murdering thing. He was a real big fan of Europe, and he was a real big fan of navies, and he wanted to go see Europe, and he wanted to see it in Peter the Great fashion, which meant that he's not going to go with a huge entourage and his Cossacks with him. So he dressed up as a captain, and him and some of his frat boys went with him, and he went under a pseudonym, and he went to Europe, and he did so many cool things in Europe. One of the things he did, he went to the East India Company, signed on, got hired, and started building ships for the East India Company. He was a shipbuilder and a czar. He left people in charge back in Moscow that he trusted while he's out shipbuilding for the East India Company. As a czar, this guy was so... I just think he was awesome. Watch, they're probably going to pillage some resources, and I'm going to lose even more my happiness-producing luxuries, and it's going to suck. Wow, look at that. Did you see that? That was like no damage at all done to that cavalry. Nice. Really super happiness. What else do we have going on? Got a whole bunch of units moving to Moscow. Meanwhile, I've got a great scientist that I'm not going to take anywhere near Moscow because of all that stuff that's going on. We are at 8 happiness now, though, so at least we're not going to have any more problems. So, yeah, he goes to the East India Company. He builds ships for a little while. He becomes familiar with how to build ships. And then he goes to medical school. I'm not even making this stuff up. He goes to medical school, and he practices dissecting corpses along with the rest of his fellow medical students. And that's just how he rolled. That's how he did things. It's crazy. So he eventually came back from Europe, and he knew how to like operate on people and build ships. And he taught his empire how to build ships. He went into the shipyards and he was like, no, you guys got this all wrong. Let me show you how to build a ship. And he built a ship himself, and he taught his shipyards how to make ships. And that's how Russia got its first navy. And to this day, the Russian Navy has on their crest references to Peter the Great. He's called the father of the Russian Navy. Alright, so that was him in a nutshell. Let's go through some of what he did. Aztec still industrialization. People want crabs. I've got barbs everywhere. Barbs of my own making. Ugh. That horsey's gonna die. Great! Never mind. And now we can start focusing on stuff and things. So what are we going to do with this this here great general? A lot of things that have happened here. Yeah. Let's bring you up here, this Cossack, to go deal with that. With that barbarian. We've got a great general. I do want to keep this great general. I think I'll just park him in the citadel. Speaking of citadels, what am I going to do with this? I think I'm going to bring my artillery to Srubna, because my army is really overbalanced to the west. We've got here artillery and a pikeman. He should just heal up. This guy needs to come here and fight this archer. This guy's coming here. Alright. Then we got these guys. They just need to heal up. Yeah, I guess that I just need to let some turns roll. Choose host? Well, naturally I'm going to vote for myself. I'm not going to get it. Looks like it's going to be Carthage. At least it's not Brazil getting it. And we're going to move this guy to Moscow. Actually, you know what? No. Let's move him to Timitarcha. Where is Timitarcha? Come on. There it is. He'll do some trading with China. Oh, I forgot all about this scout. Let's just let him explore for a little bit. Okay, so what did Peter the Great do? In 1700 AD, he bought Kiev from Poland. He just ponied up some cash, made a deal, bought Kiev. Remember, in an earlier deal, they'd gotten the eastern half of Ukraine. And now, with Kiev, they got the western half of Ukraine. And that's fine. Go away, Arabia. I don't want to talk to you. Because he loved the Navy so much, he wanted access to the oceans, and Russia had no access. So he wanted to get access to the Black Sea and to the Crimea area, but the Ottomans were there, and they were kind of a problem. I'm probably going to find a lot of barbs up there. Wow. Why are there so many barbs over here? And now I have to build more. Yeah, rather than this opera house, I'm going to build some caravans. And finish off my caravans because, gosh, I guess barbs keep eating them. Carthage's host, just kind of like I thought. And we'll go looking for where that barb came from. Oh good, let's trade with, never mind, that stinks. We'll trade with Kizzle. Kind of thinking I should probably heal this Lancer a little bit before going and finishing that guy off. And, oh yes, this fellow. Let's move him on here and deploy him. So now we've got another academy. This archer. This archer will come to Poltavka. We'll sleep this Cossack up here before going and dealing with that barb camp. I think, what is this? Finland over here that I'm exploring with my musketmen? I think that's what that is. This pikeman, really, he should deal with these units and then take up camp at Tunsberg. Okay, I forgive you. You're spying on me. And what else did Peter do in 1700? So yeah, he wanted a warm water port. The Ottomans were at the Black Sea in Crimea, so he organized a military campaign to take the Ottoman fortress of Azov there and gain control of the Black Sea. But he didn't win. He got his butt kicked, and after his European tour, he did his European tour thing. He did the shipbuilding at the East India Company and all that. 1700, he did so much. And he comes back from seeing Europe and dissecting corpses. And while he was gone, some rebellion started up because he had been gone on a European tour for a long time. He put that down. He taught the Russian Navy how to build ships. And just because he hadn't done enough, he changed the calendar. Russia went from the year 7207 to the year 1700. He adopted the Catholic calendar. Wow, a lot all in 1700. He did that. He was like that. He was just never exhausting himself with what he could do. I guess I better go build public schools now, and we'll move towards plastics and replaceable parts and stuff. 1705, he declared war on Sweden to get the Baltic Sea, but he lost to an alliance of Sweden, Denmark, Norway, Saxony, and the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. I think that that's pretty much the last time he lost. He founded the city of St. Petersburg, which he named after St. Peter the Apostle, not himself. And he moved the capital there. And if you look at St. Petersburg as compared to Moscow, you'll notice that they're completely different cities. Moscow has the Kremlin, and its skyline is dominated with churches. Whereas if you look at St. Petersburg, you see the very modern European... Holy smokes. Let's just go suicide ourselves. Dead. There, one less unit to pay for. Yeah, you see the very modern European city where its major buildings are bureaucracy buildings. So he did that. And what else? Sweden decided to counter-invade Russia, and Peter did the whole scorched earth policy. He may have been the first one to do that, where he burned everything in front of the oncoming Swedes. The Swedes, therefore, had no way to feed their army, and they died, and they lost, and they were driven out. 1710. Well, the years are no longer passing in fives. I see that years are now passing in, like, what, every 2 years? Every one turn is
Ireis considerar esta oferta?
Oh, this research agreement is not at all to my liking. We'll do an even trade, or I'll give you some iron. I'll give you 3 iron. Nice. Not altogether horrible.
تعال.
Alright, so refuse you. Down to just 1 unhappiness. And that this is a description for how my units die. Nice, we got a rifleman out of nowhere. Somebody gave me that. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I need to upgrade my units because they are seriously wanting. Indeed, they are seriously wanting. We're gonna fortify this guy. I know these guys are just gonna take it. They just need to hold the ground until the artillery shows up. Actually, yeah, barbs are kind of a serious problem right now. And I'm probably gonna lose that pikeman right there. That one's gonna die. Bye, pikeman. It was nice knowing you. That sucks. I did not adequately take care of my units. And that one died as a result of it. There it went. And Moscow grew. So now I have so many Russian babies. I'm going to need to institute some kind of one-child policy. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what else? My goodness gracious. 1710, Peter declared war on the Ottoman Empire again, thinking that the Balkans would help him, but they didn't, and he lost a year later. That was his last loss. After that, he declared war on everybody north of him, and he moved north, and he conquered lots of people. He dismissed the Duma. By the way, the Duma had organized now the boyars, who I don't know, maybe if I was a little bit more unbiased I would not dislike the boyars, but from what I've read, the boyars pretty much suck. They just are horrible people and nobody should like the boyars. It seems like every Russian ruler detested the boyars, and this was no exception. Peter the Great was no exception. He hated him, so they had organized into some kind of parliament called the Duma. He dismissed that and said, by golly, if there's going to be any power structure but me, it's going to be one that I set up. And he set up the Senate. So Russia had a Senate, interestingly enough, kind of a parliament-based system. I need to get a unit back over here to protect Tunsberg and open this area up, so I will send the Cossack over to go do that. Alright, so we'll scurry this guy in and hope that my composite crossbowman doesn't die. We will eventually upgrade him. So yeah, he declared war on the north, and he conquered Latvia, part of Estonia, Finland, Ingria, Karelia, but Sweden he couldn't beat. He just couldn't bring down the Swedes, and he fought them until 1720, which is a while from now. So right now he is fighting all of the northern world, or at least he's conquering them, and gee whiz, this situation's really dicey. They're gonna kill my salt, and that's gonna suck. There, my salt's protected. At least that salt's protected. So many barbs. There are, golly, there's barbs, just barbs everywhere. If I build a... Yeah, I'll build a road here, and then I'll do the buffalo later. And once I get this road over to Rostov, I think I'll be pretty much done building roads. And do I have any improvements right now which will help me with my happiness problems? Or do I need to do the one-child policy thing now? Golly, this empire is huge. And just like that, I'm out of time. Gee whiz, golly, wonkers. I don't want to be... by golly, I'm not going to be done with this episode until I'm done with Peter the Great. 1714. I'm just going to roll some turns real fast then and make sure that I've got... that I'm caught up. So let's see here. What can we do? We can shoot... Oh, nice. We can shoot him. And this Cossack's going to come over here. Next turn. I want to do the whole one-child policy thing and lock down growth. But I'm just not feeling it. Partly because I'll probably never remember to start growing again. Alright, well, let's do it. Here we go. This is... You know what? I got an alternative to this. Let's not do this. Let's just simply assign so many specialists that my cities don't grow anyway. So let's get a workshop and a market and a bank, and that'll really dial down. And rather than doing food, let's do a default focus here. In fact, let's do a production focus. Yeah, Voltovka will put on production, and we'll get a workshop going and a market going. That'll slow... So this won't stop growth, it'll just slow it. And Samaria is pretty well... Yeah, there. Stagnant. Great. And over here, can we put one on workshop? What's his growth? 9. It's fine, you can stop there. And I don't really want to stop these people completely. I just want to slow them down. There. That might help things become a little bit more manageable.
Ireis considerar
Yeah,
esta
let's work
oferta?
together, sure. I really couldn't care less. Should probably get somebody down here to fix these furs. I've got a couple of... Oh, no! So much for the porcelain tower. Well, I've got cash now. China. You jerk. Samaria, you'll kill those guys. I'm really trying right now to protect my... just to protect myself from the barbs. That's all I'm trying to do. Nice. Okay. And my people are still not happy. Alright, what's Moscow gonna do now? Public school, this is a no-brainer. And then a windmill. And we can start upgrading units, I suppose. Or no, better yet, better use of my money than upgrading units is we're going to go find mercantile city-states that have gold quests. None of them do now. That sucks. So we're going to go over here and give a gift. So we're going to get 30 influence. I kind of thought that... I thought that I would get happiness from him since... Oh, did I do... I did maritime. I meant mercantile. So now I've got food coming into Moscow, which is like the last thing I need. Alright, well, it is what it is. I made a mistake. Kids, don't do this at home. Do as I say, not as I do. That sucks. And did we already have wine in our empire? We do have wine, but that'll get us our own source of wine. You'll heal. Nice. And I think we'll heal this guy a little bit before taking on that pikeman. Finland, or I think this is Finland up here. Finland's just a nasty little place. We'll set him on alert. And it's basically 1720, so Peter the Great made peace with Sweden. In that peace agreement, he freed Finland, which he had previously conquered, but he got to keep all of his other lands. He took the title of Emperor, so he was no longer Tsar of all of Russia, he was now Emperor of all of Russia. And he ordered compulsory education amongst the nobles. So if you were a noble and you had a kid, you had to send your kid to school. That's not the most horrible thing that's ever happened. I don't know if I really feel strongly like my military was not large enough. I think that it's okay if my military loses a little bit. And what else? What else? What else? What else? Come on, unit needs what? Oh, he needs orders. This caravan will move to Moscow. And yeah, so at this point, the Safavid Empire was declining dramatically. And you might remember those are the Iranians. They were in the process of collapsing. And his hated enemy, the Turks, were next door to the Safavids. And he thought, man, I'm afraid that if the Safavid Empire collapses, the Ottomans are going to gobble them up and take their lands. And that's going to make the Ottomans that much harder for me to deal with. So he went to war with the Safavids, stomped them out, and he took a whole bunch of Iranian territories. I hate you barbs so much. I have such a dislike for you jerks. I can't even describe it. Probably gonna kill my copper now. I'm really playing pretty badly. I blame that on the ferocious amount of alcohol I drank before playing. I would normally play great, he says. Jeez. Freaking... And the barbs are stronger than I am. It's not even fair. They're literally kicking my butt. And they're everywhere. This knight's gonna come up here and help. You're gonna just have to heal over here because, in fact, heal here. It ain't safe for you anymore. Okay, so yeah, he went to war with the Safavids, and he took Durbert, Shirvan, Gilan, Mazandaran, Baku, Astrabad regions all around the Caspian Sea. And while he was gone, he got word his son may be plotting against him. Riga and Kiev are close enough that I don't need to worry about. See, that's going to go through... Jeez. The problem is barbs. I think Wittenberg will be safe. We can go to Wittenberg. Oh, fabulous. So that worker is done building a farm. He'll have to come over here and fix the silk. So he took a bunch of Iranian lands and heard his son was plotting against him. And you might remember at the beginning of this episode, I said the one thing Peter the Great can't stand is someone who's not loyal. And it doesn't matter if it's his own son. So He came back and he tortured his son so hard, his son really got messed up. There's the loss of my copper. Really frustrating. Stinking barbs. So he tortured his son so hard that his son died in captivity. It looks like it was probably an accident. He probably didn't mean to torture his son to death. It looks like he tortured him and then drug him off to a jail cell to contemplate this on the Tree of Woe, and then the kid died of tuberculosis or something in the jail cell. So, an unfortunate mistake. But it was his son, and his son did die. Dido, I got no interest in that. But you know what? I forgot all about Montezuma and making him love me. Let's go talk to him. Anything else about Peter the Great? So, 1725, which we happen to be there now. Look at all these barbs. They're everywhere. Yes, they are everywhere. I got that. And we got some more researching power. We'll build ourselves a great work.
I fell asleep.
Any Fey longs for culture. And they're not going to get it out of me because I'm the Russians. Oh yeah, I said I was going to build a camp here. So yeah, his son died. And what else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Oh yeah, he died of gangrene in 1725. And this brings us to the end of this episode because Peter the Great just died. He died of gangrene probably as a result of a surgery that he had on his bladder. He apparently had bladder problems, and in particular, I guess, and this is kind of weird, but the surgery that he had on his bladder was to remove 4 pounds of urine that was stuck in his system. So they went in, they removed all this urine, and then I guess the surgical technique was insufficient in such that they caused gangrene and he died. So that was the end of Peter the Great. That servant girl he married, remember her? She became empress. There is a Disney princess story. Her name was Catherine. She was not Catherine the Great. She was Catherine the First, and she died almost immediately after Peter the Great. She died of an abscess in the lung, and they were succeeded by Peter the Second. And that is where we'll start the next episode. You can return that unit. I don't even care. There you go. Damn 'em. This guy will come back down here to Tunsberg and help route out these barbs right here. And there, that's not altogether horrible. We'll let that Cossack heal up a little bit more before he goes and does anything. He's healing, he's repairing. We'll bring that guy back to Tamatarcha and have him protect Tamatarcha. Alright. What other units? Yep, camp for the bison. This guy will come to not Moscow. He'll come to Poltavka. And that'll be our next target right there, will be those Muskemen. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, please click the like button. If you didn't like it, go away. And then click subscribe, because I think I'm about to give up on this whole business. But if I get a whole bunch of subscribers, maybe I'll change my mind. You know, stranger things have happened. Anyway, thank you very much. You have a great day. Ta-ta. Bye.